Making headlines this hour, Minister of Social and Family Development Dr. Aishad Shiham states that the state allowance for those with disabilities will not be cut even if they gain employment. The Human Rights Commission of the Maldives unveils a pioneering initiative to certify businesses for their adherence to human rights standards. The Ministry of Higher Education, Labour and Skills Development reveals that more than $9.7 million was allocated last year for the government's free degree program. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum and welcome to PSN News in English with me, Minha Maroof. Minister of Social and Family Development Dr. Aishad Shiham states that the state allowance for those with disabilities will not be cut even if they gain employment.
Employment opportunities within the civil service are part of President Dr. Mohamed Muizz's pledge to support persons with disabilities. Procedures and systems are now in place to provide job opportunities through various state agencies, councils, and institutions. Speaking on the Tarjamana Eku program of the President's office, Minister Aishad Shiham revealed that over 350 people with disabilities have been provided jobs so far through government agencies and companies. Assuring that the program will continue uninterrupted, the minister said efforts are underway to create even further opportunities. Responding to concerns that disability allowance may be cut once employment is secured under these efforts, the minister said the disability allowance is protected by law and will continue alongside any other income or benefits. The minister further noted that the salaries for those with disabilities are equal to others, helping them contribute to family expenses. There will be no difference in pay based on disability, she stressed.
The Ministry of Higher Education, Labour and Skills Development reveals that more than $9.7 million was allocated last year for the government's free degree program, bringing the total expenditure over the past 2 years to $19.6 million. The initiative has significantly expanded access to higher education, with 2,798 new enrollments in 2025 alone and a total of 8,680 students currently benefiting from the program. Official statistics indicate that 3,286 students graduated under the scheme last year, adding to the 6,640 completions over the past 2 years. The program has also promoted gender inclusivity, with 5,486 female and 3,194 male students enrolled. Launched to address workforce demands and eliminate financial barriers to education, the free degree program has enabled thousands of young Maldivians to pursue higher education studies in key employment sectors. The government reaffirmed its commitment to fostering a skilled workforce through continued investment in accessible education. Authorities confirm a 57-year-old Maldivian woman who fell critically ill while performing Umrah in Saudi Arabia has been successfully repatriated for treatment. The patient was transported to Male via a Maldivian Airlines flight with dedicated medical assistance and is currently under intensive care at the Indira Gandhi Memorial Hospital IGMH, where she is reported to be on ventilator support. The government coordinated her evacuation following reports of her deteriorating health. The Minister of Islamic Affairs, Dr. Muhammad Shahim Ali Saeed, acknowledged the efforts of Maldivian Airlines and IGMH in facilitating her safe return. The pilgrim had travelled with the Al Wadi Umrah group among thousands of Maldivians undertaking the religious journey this holiday season, with over 7,000 pilgrims reportedly visiting Saudi Arabia in recent weeks. No further updates on her condition have been disclosed, but authorities emphasized the importance of healthcare support for pilgrims, particularly during peak travel periods. The Maldives Transport and Contracting Company Limited (MTCC) conducts walk-in interviews on 17th January as part of its recruitment drive for drivers to operate the upcoming government-run taxi line service. Under the supervision of the Ministry of Transport and Civil Aviation, MTCC aims to hire a total of 407 drivers, 285 on a full-time basis and 122 part-time, to ensure 24-hour service availability across the capital region. Applications will remain open until the 17th of January, with priority given to individuals already registered with the Ministry's official taxi driver registry. The taxi line, designated to alleviate public difficulties in hailing cabs, will operate similarly to international ride-hailing platforms like Uber and Grab, using a fleet of 100% environmentally friendly electric vehicles (EVs). The launch was previously delayed due to concerns over saltwater corrosion in the island environment, prompting necessary modifications in vehicle design. Ministry has confirmed that these adjustments are now being implemented, paving the way for a reliable, convenient, and sustainable urban transport solution. The Human Rights Commission of the Maldives, HRCM, unveils a pioneering initiative to certify businesses for their adherence to human rights standards. Announced on the state broadcaster PSM's Raj Jamil the program, the new program aims to formally recognize and incentivize companies that operate in line with rigorous international benchmarks. According to HRCM Assistant Director of Advocacy Hussein Jamil, businesses will be assessed and awarded points based on their comprehensive efforts to ensure human rights. These efforts include strict compliance with employment law, guaranteeing all employee rights, and establishing transparent grievance redressal systems. Companies will subsequently be certified in one of the three tiers: gold, silver, or bronze. Jamil emphasized that achieving certification, particularly the esteemed gold standard, requires significant commitment. He stated that an official certification from the National Human Rights Institution serves as powerful, verifiable proof for international suppliers and partners, potentially offering Maldivian businesses a competitive edge. The HRCM has identified the certification scheme as a top priority, viewing it as a major step forward in shaping corporate practices. The objective is to ensure local businesses not only comply with but actively promote international human rights standards, transforming the private sector into a key driver of social progress in the Maldives. The initiative will begin with awareness campaigns targeting large businesses this year. Maldives Immigration urges foreigners working in the Maldives to ensure that they possess a valid e-visa that has not expired when traveling out of the country and returning back. The Maldives introduced the e-visa service on 23 November last year, becoming the first in the region to do so. According to Maldives Immigration, all visa-related services are now online, changing how visas are issued to foreigners. Foreigners with a work permit can enter or exit the Maldives on a work visa only if they have a valid e-visa. Furthermore, newly arriving foreigners with a work permit must get an unexpired entry pass from the Ministry of Homeland Security and Technology before entry. Highlighting employer responsibility in managing expatriate-related matters, Immigration said employers registered in the expat online system must confirm the validity of any previously issued and expired work visas of employees. The e-visa validity aligns with the work permit's validity. A foreigner can depart from the Maldives without completing the work visa process only once, and only within 15 days of entry, provided their work permit is still valid. The Elections Commission of Maldives (ECM) received 128 complaints so far regarding the voter list for the April local council and Women's Development Committee elections. According to the Commission, a total of 294,937 people are eligible to vote in the upcoming elections, including 144,527 women and 150,410 men, as per the voter list. While the Commission has opened complaints regarding the list, ECM said most complaints received relate to deceased persons still appearing on the list or incorrect personal information. The deadline to submit complaints via ECM's My Portal is 3 p.m. on the 18th of this month. Complaints and corrections must be supported by official documents such as identity cards or any official identification documents. The voter list is available on the ECM website, in the Government Gazette, and at local council offices, while polling details can be checked via SMS. A total of 21 hectares of land is reclaimed so far under the land reclamation project for the construction of an airport in the Diddu Ha-Alif Atoll. The reclamation work is being carried out by Maldives Airports Company Limited, MACL.
Under the project, a total of 115 hectares of land will be added to the island. Reclamation works commenced on the 5th of January, and with 21 hectares reclaimed to date, 18.75% of the total project has now been completed. Officials said the dredger being used for the Diddu reclamation is among the largest in the world. The train suction hopper dredger, named Liv Eriksson, has a capacity of 46,000 cubic meters. It is the third dredger deployed by the government to accelerate land reclamation works. President Dr. Mohamed Muiz visited Diddu last year, where he met residents and reiterated development pledges made during the presidential election campaign. The president said such pledges were made with confidence in their feasibility. He described the airport project as a key component of Diddu's medium and long-term development plan, as well as the broader development strategy for the entire atoll. As pledged, the project has now commenced and is progressing at a rapid pace. The land reclamation project for the airport is expected to address long-standing challenges related to land scarcity in Diddu airport development and housing land allocation. Once completed, the project will effectively double the size of the existing island.
Seaplane services commences at Terminal 1 of Valana International Airport with the launch of dedicated check-in counters and passenger transport arrangements. The Maldives Airports Company Limited, MACL, said seaplane check-in counters at the new terminal are now operational. Bus routes have also been designated to transport passengers from Terminal 1 to Seaplane Terminal. MACL said the arrival gate 4 South Parking Zone of the new terminal has been allocated exclusively for seaplane operators and MACL staff buses. The company has advised other drivers not to use the area, noting that unauthorized entry, exit, or parking that obstructs vehicle movement is prohibited. Terminal 1 is equipped with 24 dedicated check-in counters for seaplane passengers. Officials said the new facility will significantly benefit the Maldives, which operates the world's largest seaplane network, by improving passenger handling and operational efficiency. Terminal 1 at Valana International Airport was officially opened on 26 July last year. Since then, 41 airlines have transferred their operations to the new terminal. The Maldives shipped a total of 329 tons of cargo through its sea-to-air cargo service in December last year, with consignments delivered to 20 countries.
Sea-to-air cargo is a logistics service that allows goods transported by sea to be transited onward to global destinations by air. The service was launched on the 15th of May 2024 and is widely used in international trade, generating significant economic benefits in many countries. In the Maldives, the service is jointly operated by Maldives Airports Company Limited, or MACL, and Maldives Ports Limited, or MPL. Sea-to-air cargo operations are currently connected to more than 17 international airlines. According to statistics released by Maldives Ports Limited, cargo was shipped to 20 countries through 10 airlines in December alone. The total volume amounted to 329 tons, equivalent to 66 20-foot equivalent units, or TEUs, based on container measurements. The airlines that transported cargo through the sea-to-air cargo service in December included Virgin Atlantic, Etihad Airways, Lufthansa, Qatar Airways, Turkish Airlines, Azerbaijan Airlines, Saudi Airlines, Swiss Airlines, ITA Airways, and Emirates. Officials said the sea-to-air cargo service continues to expand and has already generated millions of dollars for the national economy. With the Maldives served by a wide network of international airlines, authorities noted that there is significant potential to further expand the service and increase cargo volumes in the future.
A Japanese mining ship departs for a remote coral atoll to probe mud-rich in rare earths, part of Tokyo's drive to curb its reliance on China for critical minerals as Beijing tightens supply. The month-long mission of the test vessel Chikyu near Minamitori Island, some 1,900 kilometers southeast of Tokyo, will mark the world's first attempt to continuously lift rare earth seabed sludge from 6 kilometers deep onto a ship. Japan, like its Western allies, has been reducing its dependence on China for the minerals vital to the production of cars, smartphones, and military equipment, an effort that has taken on urgency amid a major diplomatic dispute with Beijing. The vessel, with 130 crew and researchers, is scheduled to return to the port on February 14th. Ishii added that recovering the key minerals from 6 kilometers below sea level would be a major technological achievement. The United Nations releases the World Economic Situation and Prospect Report. UN Assistant Secretary-General for Economic Development Naveed Hanif, along with other UN officials, had a briefing on the report at UN headquarters in New York.
We project economic growth to stabilize at 2.7% this year, compared to 2.8% in 2025. Last year, sharp tariff hikes disrupted global trade. Yet the system proved more resilient than anticipated.
Global economic growth is forecast to decline to 2.7% in 2026 from 2.8% last year, before increasing to 2.9% in 2027, still down from the pre-pandemic average of 3.2% between 2010 and 2019. The report said that while a sharp increase in U.S. tariffs in 2025 created new trade tensions, the absence of broader escalation has helped limit disruptions to international commerce. The report said economic growth in the United States slowed to 1.9% in 2025 from 2.8% in 2024 and was forecast to edge up to 2.0% in 2026 and 2.2% in 2027, aided by expansionary fiscal and monetary policies. It said inflation would likely remain above the 2% target in 2026. In China, the economy was projected to grow by 4.6% in 2026 and 4.5% in 2027, down from an estimated 4.9% expansion in 2025. Growth in the European Union was forecast at 1.3% in 2006 and 1.6% in 2007, compared with 1.5% in 2025, driven by resilient consumer spending. The report said, but higher U.S. tariffs and geopolitical uncertainty are likely to weigh on exports. It said growth in South Asia was due to moderate to 5.6% in 2026 from 5.9% in 2025. It was forecast to return to 5.9% in 2027. Gambia tells judges at the United Nations top court that Myanmar targeted minority Muslim Rohingya for destruction and made their lives a nightmare in a landmark case accusing Myanmar of genocide. It is the first genocide case the International Court of Justice is hearing in full in more than a decade. The outcome will have repercussions beyond Myanmar, likely affecting South Africa's genocide case at the ICJ against Israel over the war in Gaza.
We did not bring this case lightly. We brought this case after reviewing credible reports of the most brutal and vicious violations imaginable inflicted upon a vulnerable group that had been dehumanized and persecuted for many years. We received and carefully examined the meticulous reports of the United Nations fact-finding mission, dispatched by the UN Human Rights Council. We also examined reports issued by the reputable international human rights organizations, which sounded the alarm on the genocide of the Rohingya unfolding in northern Rakhine State.
Myanmar has denied genocide. Gambia's Minister of Justice Dauda Jallow told ICJ judges the Rohingya were simple people with dreams of living in peace and dignity. The predominantly Muslim West African country of Gambia filed a case at the ICJ, also known as the World Court, in 2019, accusing Myanmar of committing genocide against the Rohingya, a mainly Muslim minority in the remote western Rakhine State. U.S. President Donald Trump says he is weighing a range of responses to escalating unrest in Iran, including possible military options as massive protests continue to roil the country. Trump also said he plans to speak with billionaire Elon Musk about restoring interest in Iran, where authorities have blacked out services for 4 days amid ongoing anti-government protests.
There seem to be some people killed that aren't supposed to be killed. These are violent, if you call them leaders, I don't know if they're leaders or just they rule through violence. But we're looking at it very seriously. The military is looking at it, and we're looking at some very strong options. We'll make a determination.
The flow of information from Iran has been hampered by an internet blackout since Thursday amid the most expansive protests against the country's clerical establishment since 2022. Iran's current protests began on December 28 in response to soaring prices before turning against the clerical rules who have governed since the 1979 Islamic Revolution. Hundreds of people have been killed since then, right groups estimate. US-based organization HRANA said it has verified the deaths of 490 protesters and 48 security personnel, with more than 10,600 people arrested in 2 weeks of unrest. Iran has not given an official toll, and Reuters was unable to independently verify the tolls. Poland battles past Switzerland 2-1 in the United Cup final to banish the pain of title round defeats in the previous 2 editions and secure a long-awaited maiden triumph in the season-opening mixed team competition. Hubert Hurkacz continued his resurgence in his first event back after a near 7-month injury layoff by beating veteran Stan Wawrinka 6-3, 3-6, 6-3 to level the tie at 1-1 after Iga Swiatek lost 3-6, 6-0, 6-3 to an inspired Belinda Bencic.
No, it's amazing. I feel like it's been a long time coming. Playing such a tight finals with Germany and last year with US. So I feel like we really deserve it. We had really great performances and also a great spirit on the bench. So super proud to lift the trophy, and finally it's ours.
The mixed doubles duo of Katarzyna Kawa and Jan Zielinski then downed Bencic and Jakub Paul 6-4, 6-3 in the deciding match to trigger jubilant scenes in Sydney, where Poland finally converted their dominance into silverware. Victory capped a superb campaign for Poland, who beat last year's champions the United States in the semi-finals and set up Hurkacz to carry momentum into his singles campaign at the Australian Open that begins on January 18th. 6 times Grand Slam champion Swiatek heads into the year's opening major at Melbourne Park with back-to-back defeats after losing to Bencic on Sunday and Coco Gauff in the semi-finals, though she will remain among the top contenders. On the calm waters of the UAE's Ras Al Khaimah, visitors and tourists boards a boat bound for a floating pearl farm where an old Emirati tradition is being kept alive. At Suwaidi Pearl Farm, nets holding pearl oysters hang beneath the water's surface. Guide Muhammad Taqi Al-Din explains how oysters are transferred through different growth stages over months before pearls are harvested, and how pearl farming has replaced the practices of the past.
Today we brought our guests and we explained the history and how we do the farming, and back in days Emiratis how they used to survive on the pearl diving. And we also showed the graded pearls, different graded pearls. We also opened oysters to find pearls, and we explained how it was formed.
Over a century ago, fishermen dove 40 meters into the Persian Gulf's turquoise waters, hunting for pearls that provided the main source of income for people across shores from what is now the United Arab Emirates, Kuwait, and Bahrain. That industry suffered after the Japanese invented a way to cultivate perfectly round pearls in early 1900s. Only later did the discovery of oil help to transform sleeping fishing villages such as Abu Dhabi and Dubai into steel and glass centers of commerce. With the advent of pearl farming, pearls were cultivated in farms by inserting ceramic balls into oysters, which the mollusks would cover with silky layers called nacre or mother of pearl. Because of its rarity, natural pearls can sell for up to hundreds of thousands of dollars, while cultured pearls are more widely available and typically range from a few hundred to several $1,000s depending on size, shape, and luster. And that's all we have for now. Thank you for watching. Wish you all a pleasant day ahead.